Welcome to the OpenJ9 community call for May 24th. If you haven't already, please add your name and a company affiliation to the minutes. Does anyone have anything to discuss that's urgent right at the start? Otherwise, we'll start working our way through the agenda. We have limited attendance today because there was a storm in Ottawa and Toronto on Saturday, and a lot of people are without power. So this will probably be a quick meeting. So I don't see Len. There's a mention of organizing another lightning talk. Let's take a look at the user-raised issues. So there's nothing that's come in the past week. Does anybody have any user-raised issues they think need to be discussed? So the 033 release. Let's see, I didn't update the issue count. So I think we've got 14 issues and 1 PR. Friday was our day to branch. We did get the update to GCC 10.3 done for Java 17 and later. So that'll be in the branch. I'm going to go ahead. I haven't actually done the branch yet. I'm going to do it after this call. I went through some of the weekend testing. I still have some more to do. I'll go ahead and make the branches after the call, and we can see about starting some milestone builds for milestone 1. We'll be looking to have the rest of the issues in the milestone plan either resolved or assessed as something that can move out to the next release. Skip the 034 release for now. Let's see Jack on the call, so we'll skip Loom. Panama, Cheng, do you have updates? I see you're typing.
Yeah, actually I already for the X PPC64 and already updated test case because the penny use is specific to AX. There is no penny use required for the data structure. Another thing is about the fixed page size on X, or adding code to make sure it is safely released hidden memory. That's all about the X, and I think another thing is the new chip coming up, and all changes are merged to OpenJ9 stage branch. So hopefully it should be merged to OpenJ9 branch. So I'm get started to look at what am I gonna do with this new APIs. So yeah, that's about it.
Okay, thank you. I don't think we have anyone on the call to give us an adopt update. And I don't see Adam for any machine updates. I know we do have a problematic Z-Linux machine where it's failing to capture core files. So anytime tests run on that machine, you're going to get failures. Devin for CMake. Maris, any updates for JIT server?
Oh, nothing to report this time.
Or nothing for microjit?
Microjit, we had last week our meeting, and next one I think we'll cancel. I'm going to be on vacation starting May 30th.
So
I'll update the doc with the next.
will it just move by 2 weeks? So I'll put the
Yeah.
16th.
Yes.
Okay. Jack, do you have any updates for Loom?
Yes, Pete. So I've been going through some of the review comments, and we discovered there's one component need implementation, which is the thread.get all
Thread.
in order to run some of our sanity test suite.
Sorry, I didn't catch thread.what?
Thread.get all threads. It calls a native that says get threads.
Okay.
So I'm working on implementing that function, which is blocking us from running sanity functional testing. I have most of the parts already done. Just need some verification and testing to make sure that it works.
So when you say blocking from running sanity functional, it doesn't work at all, or there's just some failures?
There's some steps during sanity compilations that requires that API in order to continue.
I see, yeah. Before we needed that API, were you able to run any sanity functional, or this is the first time you're
No, this is the first time I'm actually running sanity. I did confirm, so without that API, simple programs like Java version that does not require thread library would work.
Yeah. Yeah, and I know Jason has been running, doing builds of the latest OpenJDK using your Loom changes in progress. So he seems to be able to build at least, not
Yeah.
in tests.
So I'm looking to finish this change today, and I'll be able to run the testing there, and we'll have more to update on that later.
Yeah, sounds good. It'll be good to see what problems we're going to have in sanity functional.
Yeah. Also, there has been discussions with Toby and Gak about the approach that we're taking. It seems that after some analysis of how exactly we're supposed to implement the virtual thread, we have been looking at potentially using a hidden field to store a reference to a allocated stack that we'll be using for the stack swapping, which means that we no longer have to allocate a entirely new J9 VM thread to store the information. But we're still investigating into it to make sure that this approach will work.
Okay. Yeah, that
In the
sounds
meanwhile,
good.
our focus will be, yeah. In the meanwhile, we're focusing our implementation details right now into JCL native first to support Loom. So it gives us a bit more time to discuss about how the VM native implementation will be done.
Yeah, not having to allocate a J9 thread struct for every Loom thread sounds the better approach.
Yeah, definitely. So we're still under discussion. Hopefully by next week, we should have a more concrete plan for that.
So I see there's
And
some dates here.
yep.
And we may have missed the first one already.
Yeah. The first one we didn't get to the part where we're running sanity functional. We were able to get it to compile and run, I guess. In terms of the June 10th date, we're still under discussion in terms of whether how we're going to tackle the hidden field and allocating the virtual thread.
So before the call next week, could you update the schedule to reflect the current reality?
Yeah, I will definitely have it updated by next week.
Okay, thank you. Is there anything else?
No, that's it.
So we don't have Toby. Does anybody have any updates on the Mac M1 work? Keith, you had some DDR stuff in progress.
Yeah, that my DDR change got merged today, I think it was. So hopefully that'll promote, and then we have DDR on Arch 64 for Mac as well, and more reliable DDR on Mac in general.
More reliable in what way?
We were relying on a essentially a deprecated tool, I suppose. You know, the Dwarf Dump Dash Classic. And it doesn't. I think the problem on Arch 64 was it doesn't support some of the constructs used by the compiler. And so it wasn't able to report, the debug information for us. It would just crash. So using the current tool should, that comes with the current compiler should be a better path forward.
And I think Joe was trying to do compiles on XMac using a newer version of Xcode and running into the DDR issue.
I think he commented that he hadn't tried sort of the most recent version of my changes. He was going to try again.
Yeah, he was going to wait for your changes. Didn't work on the what's delivered now, or what was delivered. Okay, so I'll look out for an OMR acceptance this afternoon. See what we can do to get that through. Assuming shared library rename is still on hold.
Yeah, I didn't make any progress on that in the last week.
I guess we'll have to see when that comes through. Consider deferring it to the next release, since we are past the M1 date now.
That's probably wise.
Okay, and that just leaves the OpenJDK method handles for JDK 8 and 11. Bavneet?
So I think I've posted an update in the Google Doc. Previously, I think we had run Nash on micro benchmarks, which were OpenJDK method handle aggressive, and then we had also run the Liberty startup and footprint benchmark. But I ran the Liberty D8 throughput benchmark, which had negligible change in class memory. And with that, I think we got green light to backport OpenJDK method handles.
So just to to be clear, do I interpret this correctly that the plan is to use OpenJDK method handles in all Java versions?
All supported Java versions.
Yeah, so 8, 11, 17, and so on.
Yes.
Excellent.
And I think that completes my update. Back to you, Peter.
Yep, thank you. So that sounds good. That's not a very big increase in memory, so hopefully that won't affect any users. Did anybody have any other business for today? Not. I'll stop the recording, and thanks everyone.
Bye, guys.
Yep. Take care. Bye.
Bye.